have a live stream. There you go. Yeah, just chat. I'll be back. Thanks. We're live.
Okay. So now we're on.
Yes.
Now we're on.
Hi everyone. The chat is over. We're live.
Yes, now we're live.
Finally.
So I would like to wish all of you a very warm welcome to the Schibsted offices in London. My name is Lena K. Samuelsson. I've been an editor and journalist within Schibsted for many, many years, and now I work with our social responsibility and with communication. I'm really proud today and humble to stand here together with Techfugees, which is an amazing initiative, and it stands for very much of what we believe and hold true in our core: the power of the many, the sharing of knowledge, and coming together to really make a change. So today we launch our global strategic partnership with Techfugees. And I'm really happy to be here on the stage together with you, Josephine Group, who's the COO of Techfugees.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lena, for hosting us tonight to Schibsted, not office but hub. That's it, right? And thank you so much, Schibsted, for now in welcoming us to your family. Techfugees is really proud to have its first strategic partner. We are really proud to have Schibsted for many reasons, but one main is Schibsted's mission is to empower people with information, or knowledge better, because information can be anything. And I think with Techfugees for the last 9 months, this is what we've been trying to do, is inform that there's another part of the sort of refugee crisis that is not told, or the story is not getting out there, which is there are people doing something to help the people that are coming to the shores of Europe and helping them integrate them. And that's hopefully what we can do together on a strategical partnership and communicate on. I will let you present Schibsted, and then we'll present with my team Techfugees, our chapters, Basefugees, and also our fundraising. Just a quick, I just mentioned it, but we are right now live streaming. So we have our chapter, local chapter in Dubai, in Istanbul, and in San Francisco, just watching us. So thank you for watching us, and please, just go ahead.
So really happy to be here together with so many people who are engaged and taking part of this. To us, it's really important to have partnerships that we believe really can make a change. So Schibsted is 177 years old, actually. We're a media company. We have a legacy of journalism and publishing. We have developed over the years, but still in essence with the content that is a newspaper, the news, the debate and opinion, the advertising, the classifieds, the advertising of services and consumer services. So we have developed, but still at the core, we hold our legacy very true and very strong, and we believe very much in the freedom of the press and how people can be empowered to become stronger in their daily life with the different services that we can provide. Empowering people in their daily life is our mission, and we do that in many different ways, in many different countries. As I said, we believe that journalism is perhaps one of the most, or the most important power that we can support, especially going into the digital age. But we can also see that our classified services, for instance, give a true impact, positive impact on the world. When people are able to trade, to have a better economic situation for them and their families, maybe to buy school books, or to get a new car, or to get some new furniture or something that at a much better price since it's been used. And we can see the impact of all our users that they have on the environment, when choosing to trade secondhand. So empowering people is something that we try to find different ways of doing, and also therefore the Techfugees is such a strong initiative for us when it comes to the idea of coming together and sharing knowledge and doing things to really empower people. Today we're in more than 30 countries. We have many users all over the world, 200 million users that we can unleash for Techfugees. And we have a lot of people in our group that are truly engaged. We have about 1,600 product and tech people that are very, very eager to get going with this initiative and try to accomplish something great together with Techfugees. About the same time that Techfugees was founded, also we in our group saw the humanitarian crisis going on all around us. We reported this in our newspapers, all our employees saw it everywhere, of course. And in Sweden, where we have about 1,400 people, we asked ourselves, what can we do except reporting? We said, maybe there's not so much we can do about the actual situation that make people flee, but we can do something. We can do all we can to help those who are actually now on their way. And many of them, as you know, came to Sweden. So we launched an initiative together with the Swedish Sea Rescue, an organization, also not state-owned but private organization, to send refugee ships down to the Mediterranean. So we raised money. We got 2 really good rescue boats down to Samos, and we started to work. We put journalists and photographers on those ships, but they were first and most rescuers. So they had to get an education for that. They had to be trained before they could go on the boats. And they reported, and this is some of what they saw. So my colleagues in Schibsted who were actually on those boats and worked together with the Swedish Rescue saved 1,892 lives. Took those people out of the water, and had it only been one life, we thought it would still be worth that effort. Many of our people within Schibsted asked themselves, what can we do now? How can we make sure that this operation goes on? So we try to give over that knowledge and the competence to the Greek Sea Rescue. And there is now a new station down there, and they have been given boats and knowledge sharing from us, and that's much more of a sustainable way to do it. So then a lot of people wanted to be further engaged, and that's why Techfugees is actually a perfect thing to be able to unleash the engagement in all our people within Schibsted, and all our users also, who are very much engaged also in the Swedish yellow boats. Because now we can use what we have, and we can come together and we can create something that will actually make the world a little bit better. And that is what we are all about, what we try to do in different ways. So we will have hackathons around the world, where we will put together our people and your people and others who want to join in. We will definitely promote Techfugees throughout our operations in all the ways that we can. We will have a global tech and product summit this fall, where Techfugees will be a very strong piece. And we will also take part in your summit to do the same. And we will definitely also do what we can to support the local chapters and all the initiatives to make this force really, really strong. So I'm really glad to be part of this.
Thank you, Lina.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mic working? Yes. Thank you so much, Lina, for this presentation. I think for many of you now, you understand why we chose Schibsted to be our strategic partner. Not only we have the same sort of values and the same mission of empowering people with information knowledge, but also I think for us, our team, it was when we saw that you had helped the Swedish rescue team at sea and you were actually having your employees on the ground dedicated to help, that we thought we can make a change with a company that actually have his own employees dedicated to the mission. As you might have noticed, my name is not Mike Butcher. I am not a man, and he's not here. But for unfortunate circumstances, he couldn't be here tonight. But we have a video of him. So before we start the presentation, I'll leave Mike to sort of present. Yeah, thank you. There's a message.
Look, I'm so sorry I can't be there. The day job has called me elsewhere, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming tonight and supporting us. We really want to make Techfugees a long-term project, self-sustaining, so that we can bring the scalability and innovation of the technology world to issues around refugees and refugee agencies. We know we can do it with your help. We're absolutely convinced that this is going to work. So please join us in this movement, support us, and I hope to see you soon. I wish I could have been there.
I will present very quickly Techfugees, its mission, its value for the people of some of you that haven't been to our events or don't know enough about it and want to know more. And then we'll have Tara, our local head for chapters, presenting the work we've been doing on the ground in different cities in the world. We'll have also Sophie presenting our Basefugees that you might have heard of, and Min will very quickly present what we have in plan for the next few months. Very briefly, Techfugees is the coordinator and creator of the tech community's response to the refugee crisis. We started last September. It was a call from Mike Butcher and other industry leaders of what can we do when things like this baby on the beach die and a lot of more, because we know that 1 million people came to Europe by sea last year, fleeing a country where they were threatened of death. And it's might be a big number for 1 year, but it's not a situation that will go. Refugees is not a new phenomenon, but for sure the volume at which it has increased last year was quite a shock for many of us. So we basically put up a Facebook group and a Twitter account that exploded within 48 hours. And Mike and the team put up a conference and a hackathon, and we realized that there was a lot of potential from the tech industry to provide help for the refugees. So we've now moved on to be a structured network, so we're almost 10 months later, and we have local teams of volunteers in 25 countries in the world, including Melbourne, Freetown, San Francisco. We have spanned more than 100 projects coming through our hackathons as well as coming through our online consultations. And we're running events almost every 2 weeks at this rate. And so we have local partners to run those events, because we're not the first one in that sort of space. There are a lot of civic tech projects and civic tech agencies that are already facilitating innovation for refugees. And we want to work in partnership, work in collaboration. We're really glad. We've said it, we're going to say it again, that we're signing this strategic partnership, because it means that it's not only the events we've done in the past, but we're going to be able to just really support more events, more local chapters that are run by volunteers, and really the volunteers in our local chapters is everything to us. And we had come to a point where it was about moving forward and having teams sponsored and funded and going to incubate those projects. So we're now very, very solidly going ahead with our events. Techfugees, very short. It's a social enterprise coordinating the international tech community's response to the refugee needs. I'll insist on this definition because when we say coordinating, we're really here to support the project. We are not the creator of the technology. We are here to support people that create that technology. We're international. This is a global problem. This is a global issue. It's not a Middle Eastern issue. It's not a Syrian issue. So we need to have a global span and response. And it's refugee needs. So we really want to keep away from the idea that it's a refugee crisis. This is a political interpretation, and we're here really to empower the refugees to be safe and to go on with their lives. So the HQ is in London. We have a core team made of 1 employee, me, and 14 volunteers here today, and that you'll see. We've received international coverage, and we're getting some more. Here are our values, and they're important to our mission. They're important to the way we operate. We're tech focused. There are lots of great initiatives, and they might be related to more social or more art, but only when it involves tech that we are here. It's because tech scales. So we believe that we can provide more and efficient deployment of answer and solutions with tech. Collaboration and non-duplication, you mentioned it before. When you went to rescue at sea people, then you taught the others how to become a rescuer. And I think this is the core of what we're trying to do, is we're trying to teach others how to do things. We're trying to make people collaborate and non-duplicate projects. There are lots of people trying to create the new Airbnb for refugees, or create platforms where they're going to be able to help refugees get jobs. If we all start fragmenting this market, we'll not be able to just provide this solution to the refugees. So we really need to work together. And a big part of our work, and Sophie will talk about it, has been to help people creating the similar things talk to each other and maybe think of creating something bigger. And we believe that, and we hope that Basefugees will enable those collaboration. And Sophie will talk about Basefugees. Coordinate and curate. So we apply some due diligence to the project that are submitted to us. We especially look at the way they've been sort of formulating the answer. Have they involved people with refugee status within the process of discovering the problem? Sometimes you'll find people that are creating a solution, but they haven't understood the problem. And so we've worked really well with NGOs and UNHCR, UNICEF, to just have them tell us their challenges and tell us what's actually really needed on the ground. It might not be what you think, and especially it might not be what the media think is the problem. And we are independent, non-political. So again, we're here to help empower refugees with technology. We're not here to try to advocate for policies or back any political campaign. What's really important about Techfugees, and what you should really know at the end of the day, is that we're focused in 5 areas. And we're focused in 5 areas where to support those projects. Infrastructure, which means providing Wi-Fi and technology in the hands of refugees. Education, providing opportunities for offline, online language classes, language learning capabilities. Identity, and identity means getting back your dignity, getting back the idea that you're a resource and not a burden, which is what we hear a lot these days. And given if your competences, skills, and diplomas are recognized, you're going to be able to access the job market. So it's really a core, important part of our goals here, of our work of area. Health. By health is providing solutions for people on the journey, but also when they get to their host communities, and how they can access those health solutions, especially on mental health. And inclusion. Social inclusion is a big part of our work, and we span projects that can help people integrate. That might be helping them go and be integrated to the banking system, but that can be also just integrated in neighborhoods, and so having an app that tells them where are the local services, public services. So these are the 5 areas we work in, and we will focus on finding tech that can scale and that we can support with partners, support with link to NGOs and deployment, support with also funding and finding donors for them. I put up a next slide, which is basically some of the projects that we've seen coming out of our hackathons, conferences, and partner conferences so far. Some of you might be familiar with some of them, some of you might not. But basically, there are amazing projects out there. And here are the names of a few, only a few out of many, many. Just to pick like one Jengala project, it's putting Wi-Fi in Calais. And every day they have 1,000 users, and in a month they have 4,000 users automatically. They're providing Calais and information in Calais. Meshpoint is a Wi-Fi router in the Balkan, and they provide Wi-Fi for the people on the journey because they pass by this area. Ready School is an amazing school where they're teaching the refugees coding skills, but more than that, digital skills about how to use the computers to create companies. I was in their hackathon 2 weeks ago, and the refugees themselves created apps that could help themselves. So it was very empowering. Might be just 30 students there, but they are role models for the others to come, and they will just be role models for many others. So we want to support those projects, and so it would be great to just go ahead and focus on the positive here. I'll just have Taha now presenting our local chapters, and okay, please.
Thank you, Jessica. Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us this evening. I'm Tara. I'm one of the 14 volunteers, and I manage basically our global chapters from London. Thank you, Schibsted, again for this great partnership. I'm going to be walking you through our journey for the past 9 months, starting in October in London and all the way till today. Basically, and just before actually, back to your point, we're now actually launching today in Dubai and in Istanbul. So we have an iftar event happening later this evening where both chapters will be launching their chapters. Also in San Francisco, we have a hackathon happening, aiming to activate actually probably the biggest tech community in Silicon Valley. And finally, our team in Paris are part of the Make Sense Room, which is in partnership with the UNHCR and the Marie de Paris at the Hôtel de Ville. So it's not only in London that we're gathering for World Refugee Days across all our some of our chapters. Starting in London back in October 2015, we've gained huge interest from the international community of developers, entrepreneurs, organizations, individual volunteers who would just like to contribute, who would like to offer their skills and set up a Techfugees chapter in their own cities. Given the huge interest, we understood that there's a lot of, we should do something about it, and this is how Techfugees actually developed to become what it is today. So the network is growing bigger and bigger every day, and we're in more than 25 chapters from the US to Australia through the Middle East and Asia. I don't want to dig very deep into the details, but I would like to walk you through the journey of those chapters since October, where we started in London for the conference and hackathon. 9 other hackathons followed this hackathon actually, from Oslo to Sydney to Paris, Belgrade, Amsterdam, Melbourne, and recently in Torino. These hackathons either focused on one challenge or one theme. So for example, the well-being of refugee women, like the one we did in Amsterdam in partnership with Empower Hack. Others actually gave their participants with more flexibility over the challenges they'd like to tackle. So some people looked at disrupting the donation systems, other on education for young girls and boys in refugee camps. Now, what's more interesting actually is that the interest that we received from the local ecosystem, whether the private and public sector, was huge as well. So for example, in Italy, Motorola and PayPal offered the winning teams a number of mentoring days, working from their offices alongside their developers and management team to help them, to support them in developing their projects. Also, I think in Australia, the focus, actually, let me see, yeah. In Australia, the focus was on resettling and integrating the refugee population in Australia. So what they've done successfully is really involving refugees in those hackathons, working alongside developers. And I have actually a very interesting quote from them. So they say that co-creation is at the heart of Techfugees hackathons. We want refugees to work alongside hackers to develop awesome solutions to real-world problems. And this is really the value of the local context. And we believe in the bottom-up approach to the Techfugees network. So we don't want to impose any type of event, any type of projects on those chapters. They know their local community, they know their local organizations, and we're giving them autonomy over really tapping into this local market and be able to create something, mainly a tangible impact out of this. Now, another main challenge that was focused on during those hackathons was the connectivity and access to information, regardless the limited access to Wi-Fi. And this is where in Paris and Belgrade, the two winning projects focused on this particular challenge. In Paris, we had the winning team was called Techfugees, and it's basically a platform that, sorry, I'm talking more than I'm showing you, just for you to focus on what I'm saying. It's very simple here. So Techfugees is a platform that helps and allows non-profits to send personalized messages to the refugees they're helping, which is also instantly translated into their own languages. So they're tackling the challenge of the language plus also connectivity because it doesn't need any Wi-Fi. Also in Belgrade, the winning team is called InfoHelp 303. And basically 303 is a number that refugees in Belgrade can dial in for free without Wi-Fi, and they would receive location-specific information regarding to Wi-Fi spot, food, shelter, etc. And actually, the InfoHelp team is now discussing with Telecom Serbia, the biggest telecom supporter in provider in Serbia. They're discussing how to actually integrate InfoHelp 303 within the whole country and giving people access to it, and also expanding to other cities or destinations where there's a huge flow of refugees like Greece or Athens. Now, this is really a small proportion of the projects that came out of the hackathons. Josephine showed a few others, but you can always check our website, and soon Basefugees, which will be introduced by Sophie for these kind of projects. Now I'm going to move on to what's next for those chapters and for the new chapters, because we're not only in those cities, we're also across the Middle East and Asia and Africa soon. So today, as I said before, Dubai and Istanbul are having an iftar event later, actually now, to launch their chapters. And what's interesting about the coming months are the local partnerships we're having. So we also acknowledge the importance of local partnerships with local organizations that are already working on the grounds. So we have partnered in Istanbul already with Ashoka. Ashoka is the largest network of social entrepreneurs. We've partnered with them on different competitions for innovations for refugees. Also in Dubai, we've partnered with MIT Enterprise Forum, Pan-Arab. In Brussels, actually, we're part of the Digital Festival tomorrow, so our team is there. In Athens, we're partnering with Impact Hub Athens, and we're going to be launching on the 29th of June. In Jordan, actually, we're partnering with a key player in Jordan, which is UNICEF. So we're going to be launching next month on the 12th of July. And not only in the Middle East, but also we're expanding into Pakistan. So I don't know if you all know, but Pakistan has a refugee population of more than 1.5 million refugees. So it's a major issue. I think the challenge and the opportunity for the team there is not only to find tech solutions, but also to look onto how to scale those tech solutions to accommodate for such a large population of refugees. Later in this year, we're launching also in Sweden, Hamburg, Lisbon, Austria, and in Africa, in Sierra Leone, specifically in Freetown. Now, I'm also going to announce that on the 2nd of July, our Cambridge chapter, they're having their hackathon. We have Oscar and Richard, I believe somewhere at the back. The focus of this hackathon is refugee data privacy and security. So please, if you're interested in attending or in discussing in details, go and speak to Richard and Oscar at the end of the event. Also, this is probably, I've said the word local many times, and I'm sorry for this, but this is just to emphasize the importance of local. And on this note, I'd like to thank all our volunteers across the different chapters, because all these chapters are run by volunteers. So they're doing this on their free time, basically. And yes, I think that's pretty it for me. You can come and talk to me if you have any questions about the chapters. Also, there's Alice over here, which helps on chapters. And you can check our website on techfugees.com/chapters for more information. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks. Sure. I think there's a thank you.
Yeah. And now we have next Sophie, who's going to introduce the Basefugees. A big thank you to Sophie, who has been working on this project for the last month, really hard. It's basically a tech platform, so we're proud we're techies too. And yeah, thank you so much, Sophie, for all your time and dedication for that. It's our gem. Thank you.
So Techfugees doesn't build any technology. It's an aggregator and a coordinator, with the exception actually of Basefugees, where it combines the two things. I'm going to speak very quickly about Basefugees. I was actually hoping that we could get a floating mic so that anybody who has any questions can ask them. I have a 15-minute slot and I'm going to speak for 5. Okay, so again, we've spoken a lot already about the background to the refugee crisis. The point that we really want to make is that UNHCR reported that in 2015 there were 65.3 million people displaced, of whom I think that's 5.1 are camped in 60 camps across the Middle East. It's a huge figure, and one thing to bear in mind is that we talk a lot about the Syrian and the Iraqi refugee crises, but actually there are refugees based in countries all over the world. In Pakistan, for example, you have many conflict and political refugees who've come over the border from Afghanistan, from Balochistan. In Senegal, in Sudan, you have again conflict refugees, and we're not limiting ourselves with the work that we're doing here in Techfugees to the Syrian and Iraqi refugee crises. We really want to facilitate refugees wherever we can all over the world. Many of the refugees that we deal with on a day-to-day basis are jobless, are shelterless, familyless and prospectless. And if they're not these things, they come to countries like the UK without access to the resources that they need to facilitate the type of lifestyle and the standard of living that we would expect here in this country. For example, we've just started working with a charity called the Wonder Foundation, who work a lot with female refugees in this country who are between the ages of 11 and 18 years old. Many of these refugees are beyond the educating age in their countries already. So actually the families, when they come here, have no reason to enter their 11-year-old daughters into the education system, and so they keep them at home as free babysitting, effectively. So trying to help people who are in this country to adapt, to integrate, is difficult in ways that you wouldn't necessarily expect. The diversity among the refugee population that we work with is broad. The key problem that we're trying to solve with Basefugees is the line item that I have at the bottom, which is that in many instances the response between companies on the one side who have existing viable technology solutions and with NGOs on the other is largely uncoordinated. And before I offend anybody, I don't mean that the companies in and of themselves are uncoordinated or that the NGOs in their response to the refugee population, to dealing with refugee problems, are uncoordinated. I mean that typically what happens is that the two things aren't mapped. And so you end up with a duplication of effort, you end up with inefficiencies, you end up with a lot of money being spent that doesn't need to be. And that's the problem that we're trying to solve. So Basefugees is a fairly simple concept. For those of you who are familiar with Crunchbase, it is a Crunchbase for refugees. So what it effectively does is, in the form of a web-based open source platform, it maps technology solutions to NGO challenges that are designed to solve real-world problems affecting refugees on a day-to-day basis. It has 6 objectives, which you can probably read faster than I can say, but I'm going to say them anyway. The first objective is to enable Techfugees members to Skillshare with NGOs in the context of, again, refugees wherever they are in the world. Objectives 2 and 3 are relating to 2 key elements of the platform, which are challenges, so NGO projects effectively, and then solutions, which are the bits of technology that are built by these companies. Objective 4, 5 and 6 are all sort of softer objectives, but still relevant. to enable mentorship of refugees and NGOs, again by the Techfugees team, which, as Tara and Josephine mentioned before, is growing and rapidly, to provide supporting services to NGOs, be that helping NGOs to find companies who have the right solutions for their projects, introducing them to investors, to foundations who may be interested in supporting their projects, or just doing basic administrative work, which is actually a lot of what we end up doing on a day-to-day basis. And the final objective is to provide support services to financial supporters of Techfugees, so to private investors who are looking to invest in tech solutions that deal specifically with refugees, in venture capital firms who are operating in a similar space, sponsors of events, people who sit on the boards of foundations, again, who are interested in donating to refugee-related projects. This is the sixth objective. So we have this big database, which is an aggregator and a mapper of solutions to NGOs, and we want to facilitate the funding therein. Three key features of Basefugees, and I'll get on to how it works in a second. The first is challenges. So these are projects that are put forward by NGOs that are designed to solve a specific problem. For example, a challenge could be create a portable Wi-Fi hub for camps in Lebanon. You then have solutions. These are, very much what they say on the tin. They're products, technology-based products, that have been built, again, to solve specific problems faced by refugees. And the last element is bids. So again, I'll explain just in a second how effectively the way the platform will work is a bit like an open tendering process to facilitate a global humanitarian response. You have your challenges, which can be bid against by companies who have tech solutions that may be viable in their context. And this is how it works. Everything starts with a challenge. For example, UNHCR say that they want to create a portable Wi-Fi hub for camps in Lebanon. Ideally, they profile this challenge with timeframes, with a budget. They link in the key contacts, and they put this on the database. You then have companies who have already profiled their existing solutions, so portable Wi-Fi hub A, portable Wi-Fi hub B, and portable Wi-Fi hub C. Each of these companies can submit a bid against the project as it's been profiled by the NGO. So we can complete this project for you in 6 months. It'll cost you 90% of your budget, assuming that a budget is specified and it's not obligatory. Here's our solution, and you link to the solution, and here are our key points of contact. And against each of the key points of contact, apart from kind of basic profile information, you can see that the skills that they bring to the table. So that's how the companies operate. The two other categories of user on the platform are individuals and investors. Individuals can vote on bids. So for each of the bids, there is a public element and there's a private element. Individuals have access to the public element of the bid, and they can give it the thumbs up. So when an NGO comes to choosing the right solution, they have not only their own decision-making processes, they also have the public bids on their favorite solutions. The other thing that individuals can do is they can offer their support. So I, as an individual, will have my name, I'll have my role title, I'll also have a kind of tag against me, which could be volunteer, it could be techie, it could even be refugee if I was interested in finding solutions that might be applicable to me. And I can offer my support for specific projects, either by messaging people directly associated with the project through the app, or by linking myself to it and enabling people to contact me directly. And then the last category of person we have spoken about already. Investors can give, they can either find solutions, and they have a broader range of information relating to specific solutions that they wish to invest in, or they can donate funds for specific projects. And that is how it works. The plan, which, as we know in the tech world, is never realistic, is to launch a beta version on the 1st of July, but given that we have our data compliance meeting on the 4th, it'll probably be more like the 8th or even the 15th. And then in this version, we will profile users, we will profile the different challenges. We've already partnered with UNICEF, with UNHCR. We've got some challenges from them, and we're going to start to map the solutions across. By the 26th of August, we hope to have enabled a two-way integration with at least one NGO platform. So that's the other part of what we're doing. We do not want to duplicate effort. We are absolutely against that. And we also don't want NGOs who are busy enough already to have to be liaising necessarily directly with our platform. So what we will do is we will open the API, we will set up or enable two-way integration so that UNICEF can have their challenge platform, and we'll just pull information through, and then as bids are logged against specific challenges, we'll feed the information back. We'll do it with a pilot, and then we'll do it 10, 15, 20 times, however many we need to. That's a summary. You can read it for yourselves. I've gone over the 5 minutes, for which I apologize. Any questions? Yes, sir.
So how...
There's a mic.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So how are you going to prevent the fragmentation of all the various solutions? Like, say, if you've got 20, let's say, challenges on Basefugees, then each of them, let's say, hits one sort of problem area about refugees. So then you will end up with like 20 different solutions. You won't have a single platform that kind of joins up those solutions as such, if you know what I mean. So like one might do, you know, homes, and like another might like do jobs, let's say. So, but they will be two separate separate platforms.
So you raise a relevant point, and I'm glad that you do. Basefugees is, again, fundamentally about quality over quantity. So with everything that goes onto the database, be it an investor with a profile or a technology solution, there will have been a significant amount of curation that will have gone into it. You can't just load a solution. If you add a solution, it goes into draft mode, it's viewed and curated by the Techfugees team. We ensure that it meets certain data compliance standards, and then it can be featured on the platform. So actually, as part of that process, there will be an initial, well, actually guys, we've seen 3 or 4 of these already. You know, we've got one featured on the platform. Have you thought about connecting up and doing something together, pooling your resources? Again, a lot of these ideas will come off the back of hackathons, and they will be, many of them, you know, enthusiastic students who have brilliant ideas and no resources. They have neither the team nor the funding to turn their idea into a tangible reality. So they're looking for that opportunity to be connected to people with the funds, with a team who can make them happen. So we will work actively to prevent that fragmentation from happening. If we think we've got a great solution on the platform already and we get 10 more submitted, then we'll connect them so that they can work together on solving the same problem.
Thanks. Hi. Question is around the identification of the challenges by the NGOs. How do you ensure the NGOs don't self-filter what they think could be a challenge? I mean, for example, have you thought of a buddy system where you can house startup entrepreneurs mirroring some NGOs to say, well, maybe you could look at it from that perspective?
Again, I think on that question, I think Tara already sort of answered a little bit when she was speaking about the work that we do with our local chapters. A lot of the solutions are actually coming out of our hackathons anyway. So again, we have been liaising with local NGOs, we've been liaising with local startups and entrepreneurs, and we are liaising with refugees on the ground. So we have, I mean, again, with all of the hackathons that are organized, we take the input of refugees as a starting point. So there is a risk always that even NGOs who are technically on the ground will work a little bit in isolation and may create challenges to solve problems that aren't there. And we try to, again, circumnavigate that by having all of the relevant parties in play from the off, when we have the hackathons and then when we work with the NGOs to profile their challenges.
So I've worked for the last 10 years with refugees, both for the UNHCR, and now I manage one of the largest agencies in Canada. And what I've observed is a lot of these large agencies are extremely slow to respond to the problems, and most of the very innovative ideas come from the grassroots that often don't have the ability to link into these large platforms. So how do you anticipate solving that problem?
Well, I would say that that's exactly the problem that we're trying to solve. So you have technology organizations who are very quick off the mark, but don't necessarily have the context or the funding or the platform to make those solutions happen. So the idea is that we take projects from people like UNHCR, we take projects from people like UNICEF, and we coordinate the response with local organisations. Again, there's a what really makes things or prevents things from happening in our world. It's lack of access to funds, lack of access to local knowledge and local resources. We like to think we have the latter. One of the reasons that you're all here is to ask for the former. Again, with the right funding and the right access, we think we can make things happen. I don't think we're operating as well, and this is always a perception, completely out of context, or with no ties ourselves to these people on the ground. As the guys mentioned previously, we have 27 local chapters. These local chapters are run by local volunteers, and those local volunteers have access to refugees in their countries, and are dealing with their issues at the most basic grassroots level. So we're not trying to create, we're not going into schools, for example, and saying, here's our latest VR technology, buy it. We're trying to work to create the most basic levels of access, of connectivity to solve problems for refugees, like allowing them to inform their families that they're safe, and to do that without having to pay a fortune to a smuggler who's just handed them the fourth SIM card that they've received that week. These are the very, very basic problems that we're trying to solve. I don't believe that with the organisations we have, it's going to be impossible to solve them. And I think some of the solutions that have come out of the hackathons that we've done to date, like Meshpoint, who are on the ground, who are building Wi-Fi hubs, who are delivering those Wi-Fi hubs, indicate that the collective organisation of these entities will not be possible.
One more question?
Yeah.
How are you dealing with data security for refugees, which is a really big issue in people working on tech for refugee solutions in Canada? And some of the challenges that we've had in moving some of the projects forward was security of data and certain parties being interested in capturing data off tech platforms in order to use it against asylum seekers and undocumented migrants.
So again, this is something that we're very conscious of, and one of the reasons that we haven't launched the beta version of Techfugees today, Basefugees, sorry, is that we want to make sure we're 100% data compliant. We're very lucky to have some people who are extremely experienced in this area on the team. So Richard, who's sat somewhere at the back, who's part of Techfugees Cambridge. Where, Richard? Yeah, there he is. A lady called Shafali, who was responsible for data compliance with Apple, now with Stripe. And a whole bunch of others who are sat there, who are going through bullet points with us, and who we will then go through, those same bullet points we'll take and go through with the companies to ensure that data compliance and other regulatory measures are met.
Thanks. I was wondering if you could just say a bit more about how bids are matched up with challenges, which is something I would probably know if I was more familiar with Crunchbase already. But a lot of these challenges will be complicated and qualitative. It won't be something like, we need 500 sleeping bags. It will be, we need educational content which does this and this and this. So is it just the starting point of a conversation, or will the platform extract and present these elements?
So, and this is going to be the last question, I think. Sorry. There's a saying that you get the right answer depending on the question that you ask. The fields that we give to the NGOs that we work with in terms of the information they're entering for each challenge will force them, or will at least to an extent require them to have some quantitative as well as qualitative measures within the challenge as it's profiled. In terms of identifying challenges, finding challenges, there'll be a basic tagging system. You will be required with each of your challenges to map it either to one of the T5 or to another area. So it will be a healthcare challenge, it will be an education challenge, it will be an inclusion challenge. So at a very basic level already, each of the challenges are categorized. And then when, again, I think with the vast majority of the challenges that we get, we are asking the NGOs to specify budgets and timeframes, so that at the very least, companies who are sat there thinking, well, if I haven't built this specifically for to work with refugees, how can I justify taking 6 months away from my paid clients or my planned trajectory to build something that could be beneficial to refugees? They have justification for it, and they can be certain that there is some budget set aside to facilitate it. Okay. Anyway.
Thank you very much. So now we've done a presentation of Basefugees. I hope that the people in the room that are creating projects, and I know some of you are here, I know Get Across is here, I know Jengal is here, I know other projects here. So please submit to us tonight so we can have you on platform soon. And now I'll invite Means, before we wrap up, to tell us a bit more about Techfugees in terms of legal finance. So you get an idea, because the question we get a lot is, what's the business model?
Sure. Hi, I'm Min, and I'm part of the fundraising team, along with Paul, who's someone in the back over there. I know I'm standing in between you and drinks and some really great conversations, so I'll just make it more like an FAQ style. So first question, what exactly is Techfugees? We are a social enterprise. We are a company by limited guarantee registered in the UK. What we are not right now is a charity. We are working towards it. However, if someone would like to make a sizable donation, which is very welcome, we have partnered with a UK registered charity called Uniting Britain. You can get your gift aid that way. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. One thing that we also get a lot of questions about is, what exactly is the money going to be used for? So Sophie was very eloquent about Basefugees, and it all seems like everything's going really smoothly. It's a bit like a dream. However, everyone knows that engineering resource is expensive. Things cost money, and we want to make sure that we're building the very, very best product possible as well. We're a team of volunteers. However, we also have expenses. We have hackathons, all of that. Whatever funds that we raise will be used towards programming and also to fundraising. Eventually, projects such as Basefugees absolutely, might have the potential to become income generating. As a social enterprise, what we intend to do is to plow all surplus funds back into the business so that we can then do more programming and raise more funds. And the last question is, who are you raising money from? And this is where I shamelessly ask you for help. We absolutely are reliant on our community for your generosity. Every little bit matters. Please share. For us, raising awareness is, if not as important, more important than the funds. So we appreciate any help that we can get. As well, any advice you have in terms of reaching out to high net worth individuals, grant institutions, corporate sponsors who might be interested in working with us on some of our goals. If you know of you're in touch with a telecoms company who might be interested in helping us with infrastructure, or a coding class, a coding academy that might be interested in sponsoring a few spots, please definitely get in touch. And let me know if any more questions about fundraising. I'll leave it on to Josephine to wrap up and to talk more specifics about how you can get involved.
Thank you. All right. So we're getting at the end of our night. A few things that I captured from tonight is, first, we have a strategic partner, and we're going to have one. And it's going to support our local chapter, so we're going to have more events. We have an event in Cambridge. We have soon an event in Lebanon, in Beirut. So please go on our website and check our calendar, and you'll see more. And you can go to Tarat to get more involved with the local chapters if you want. We have Basefugees platform now launching. We're going to track projects from there. So if you have a project, please send it to Sophie. And that's the way we can go. Every little thing help, really. Every little thing help. You helped save 1,800 lives this summer. I was in Sarajevo a month ago, and the people that I've worked with, refugees for the past 20 years, told me we've saved so many lives. It's unlike any other crisis of refugee, thanks to the technology. We've been able to locate people at sea because they had WhatsApp and they could get their location right. We could help people be on the phone and provide first health assistance with their friends around to tell them what are the gestures to make to save that person. So there's a huge potential to tech to really save lives, and you have to go there to just realize that. Every little thing helps. So here is how you can get involved. This is what we're looking for. I know you all came here because you're interested in getting involved, and that's the question we get a lot. So here it is. If you have a project and an existing technology that can be applied in a refugee situation related to one or the more of the T5 really that we provided at the beginning, or looking for partners promotion funding, please go on Basefugees and get in touch with Sophie. If you're an NGO, an organization that have challenges and would want to get help from engineers or would need a sort of product, please get in touch with Matthew, who's here in the back. And what we're saying all the time is we're not trying to build unicorns, and I think you got that sense. We're trying to provide tech support to the NGO world and to the humanitarian sector. Donors. So as Min mentioned, we're looking at donations from the tech community and the wider community. We want this project to come off the ground from the community and be proud about what we can achieve together, all together if we believe in it, and see how we can just really save lives. Partners, so the strategic partner label is gone. We have Schibsted here is going to be our one and only strategic partner. But if you are a company looking to get involved and want to get involved in one of the vertical on Basefugees, or looking to give expertise, for example, if someone here is from Cisco and wants to provide assistance on Wi-Fi and how we can deploy Wi-Fi, then please come talk to us. We're always interested in big companies having expertise in infrastructure, in online education, in health, in identity, and in social inclusion. So please come to us. I want to say a big thank you to the community who donated to get us where we are now. It isn't without the community that we'd be here. Mike always said that was a foolish idea that I thought would wane after a few months because we all got excited and it would go. But it didn't go at all because the community was there and the people were there, and we actually happened to have an impact. So 27 chapters, there are two numbers tonight. It's 25, 27. 25 countries, 27 cities. That's what you should remember. 11K members, 100 projects to help the needs of refugees. Thank you to our global partners with whom we wouldn't be anywhere without, because we need support. And I want you to keep in mind that we can do so much more, so please, let's do more together. Thank you very much. Some time for Q&A if anyone, we have 10 minutes. So if anyone wants to, yes, we have the raffle. Sorry.
Yeah.
And please, Tara.
One more note.
Yeah.
I forgot my own country, which is Lebanon. We have a chapter in Beirut, and Munir is just over there. He's the head of chapter in Beirut. They're working on an innovation lab, so please go and talk to him about anything related to the Techfugees in Beirut.
The innovation lab is with UNICEF, right?
UNICEF and other local stakeholders, the Palestinian, the Syrian refugee community. Yes.
Yeah.
Look, just really quickly for everybody, I think that perhaps the largest economic injustice in the US is that economic funding for schools is tied to property taxes. And one of the biggest economic injustices in the world is that a lot of seed funding, startup funding for projects is tied to home country origin, and investors, angels, etc., only like investing in things that are right in their home district. I just flew from Beirut actually a couple hours ago, and we're working with great groups like Techfugees and UNICEF and others to provide that kind of support in the countries where these people are and to help them have that opportunity. And so I implore everybody to get involved in any way possible to help open up these doors for economic opportunity and the innovation, the core innovation that is possible from these places and from these countries.
Yeah.
I actually lived in Syria for a couple years, long before the conflict, and they had an incredible tech industry. I went to a tech expo there in 2006, 2007, a couple of times, and it was an incredible event, incredibly high level of socioeconomic indicators, etc. It really was a wonderful country and a great economic trajectory before this conflict. And through these efforts, we need to mobilize the global community to bring that back.
Actually, thank you for that. And I want to mention something which, when I was in Berlin with there was some Syrian nationals there, telling me they were all software engineers basically back in the days. And there's two things that they said that was so cool. Which one said, it's the people that welcome me in that country that made me love that country. And I think it's so important that we welcome the people so they want to be integrated, because if you don't, that will just not work out. You understand that if You know, if a kid is sick, you get it to the hospital and it gets better. If a kid doesn't go to school, it doesn't go back. It's going to go to ISIS or a crime or just informal markets to get a job. So we need to act fast. And the second thing is, all of them said at the hackathon, they said, I want to make the most out of it. I'm out of my country. I have lost everything. There's not 1 minute that I'm not hungry for doing things. So we need to keep and feed them with like dreams and going ahead with that. I think it's really important. And now we announce the raffle winner. So the raffle winner is Paul.
Assistant. Does everyone remember what the prize was? So it's a prize to go and see the Syrian National Orchestra playing a very rare gig in London on the 25th, I believe.
25th, yeah.
25th of July. So an awesome opportunity to see them. This jug isn't filled with booze, but hopefully the next one you see will be. Give it a quick mix.
Very quick mix.
And this is up to the minute as well. We had one person submit about 4 minutes ago. So.
Wait, it's going to be filled.
That could possibly go wrong.
That is mixed. No. It's mixed.
Definitely mixed.
There's no cheating.
Please choose.
Okay. Should I get one in my pocket?
Yeah, it's me, right? Yeah.
Okay, and the winner is Lise Duffel. Woo! Yes. Come and take a picture with us. Where's the camera? No camera? Okay. Let's pretend. Ah, great. So we have one winner.
Thank you.
Okay. So who are you going to bring to the concert?
I don't know, it's just after my birthday actually.
Okay.
So it's good timing.
Oh, this is your birthday?
Oh no, my birthday's in July.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Sorry? Drinks are outside waiting for you. Thank you for your